Hello, well done, you've made it to the end of another week. Not many to go now. So we've got a sort of real life situation here to think about. Hannah made an agreement with her mum about keeping her room tidy. On the first day her room is tidy, her mum will give her 10p. Every day her room is tidy, she will double the amount she gives her. How much will Hannah get after 2 weeks if her room is tidy every day? Okay, so what that means is how much altogether will she be getting if her room's tidy for 2 whole weeks. So you might think that 10p is not very much to start with. I'm going to do it in pounds. So day 1, she gets 10p. Day 2, it's all tidy, so mum's going to double that. So she's got 20p. Day 3, doubling it again, she's got 40p. Day 4, she's got 80p. Day 5, she's got double that. Day 6, double that. And day 7, she'll get £6.40. So that's not bad, is it, for 1 week? So you can use a calculator or your head or whatever to add all those up to get 1 week's total if you want. But it gets a bit more interesting as we get into week 2. Okay, so on the first day of week 2 that she keeps her bedroom tidy, she's getting twice what she got there. So that would be £12.80. Okay, then on the next day, so that's day 1, day 2, she'll get double that, so it's £25.60. On day 3, she get double that, so this is getting good now, isn't it? So that's £51.20. Day 4, wow, £102.40. Day 5, now Hannah's mum is really starting to regret this, £204.80. Day 6, £409.60. And day 7, at the end of 2 weeks, it's 900. So it's not a 900 anything. Just a minute, let me look that up, sorry. It's 800, and it would be 18, but it's £19.20. Okay, so after 2 weeks, at the end of the 2 weeks, this is what she's got every day. And if we add that up, you can use a calculator if you want. So if you just quickly do that. So when you add that all up, you get £1,638.30. So that's just in 2 weeks, starting off with 10p a day and doubling it every day. So but her mum was regretting that somewhat. Okay, so on with today's work. What we're going to look at, because we've been doing equations for ages now, so we're just going to go through our steps to success for equations, for solving equations, and then we're just going to solve a few different types of equations, and that'll be us finished with equations for now. So what I'll do is update the list of what's on each video and publish that on Teams, and I'll put it on Facebook as well, for those of you that are getting your information from there. Okay, so here we are, steps to success for solving equations. So I've shown you how to do it the same way, the same process every time. Okay, there are other ways of solving equations, and as you get further on, if you go on to do higher, you will find out that there are, depending on what the equation looks like, there are maybe quicker ways than what I've shown you, but what I have shown you will work every time. Okay, so the first step is remove the brackets and collect like terms. Okay, so if you've got any brackets in your equation, multiply them out first, collect like terms before you do anything else. Then you start your balancing. So first of all, get your letters on one side only and make sure the letters are positive. So if your letters are negative, you're going to have to add them to both sides so that they appear as positive. You want to get your numbers onto the opposite side once you've sorted your letters out, and then you divide and multiply, or divide or multiply, depending if you've got a fraction or not, to find the solution. So we're just going to go through examples that use all of these steps eventually. Okay, so to start with, our first equation, 5m plus 2 equals 14. So with no brackets, we don't need to worry about that. We don't have letters on both sides, so we don't need to worry about that. And our letters are positive. So what we're doing here is going straight to step 3, get the numbers on the opposite side. So to do that, we do the opposite of what's happening already. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides to get the numbers all together on the other side to the letters. So that'll give us 5m equals 12. And then 5 lots of m equal 12. So we need to divide by 5 to find out what 1 lot of m is. So m is, remember, if the number you're dividing by doesn't go into the other number, then write it as a fraction. So you get 12 divided by 5. Now that won't simplify, but you can write it as a mixed number if you want. Either of those two answers is fine, but also that one does have an exact decimal, so you could write 2.4 as well. Okay, let's look at the next one. So again, no brackets, and again, our letters are positive, so we just need to start dealing with the numbers. So we'll subtract 4 from both sides because 4 is positive. So negative 7 take away 4 is negative 11. And on the right hand side, the 4's disappeared, so all we've got is 8t. So the next step is to divide by 8. So we get negative 11 over 8 equals t. So t equals, we can leave it as negative 11 over 8, or we could change that to 1 and 3/8. Sorry, negative 1 and 3/8. Or we could write that one as a decimal because it is a decimal that does end, and it would be negative 1.375 because 3/8 is 0.375. Okay, so any of those three numbers would be fine. The next one, we don't have brackets yet, so we're not having to worry about step 1. But step 2 is to get the letters on one side only. Okay, and we want the letters to be positive. So we bring baby to mummy, which means that we're going to move the 7 C's and we're going to subtract them from both sides. So that's the first step. So they've disappeared from the left-hand side now. On the right-hand side, we had 10C, but we took 7 of them away. So we've got 3C left, take away 1. Then add 1 to both sides to remove the 1. That'll give us 4 equals 3C. Then divide by 3. 3 doesn't go into 4, so we'll write it as 4 over 3. So C equals 4 over 3. Or you could write 1 1/3. Either's fine. Okay. Then, what you'll notice with these is I'm not giving you equations where the answer pops out to be a nice whole number, okay? Because sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So if you're routinely used to working with equations where the answer is a fraction, then I think that's a lot easier for you as you move on and do more things that are to do with equations and more things that are to do with balancing as well. Okay, so let's look at this one then. We've got letters on both sides. We've got B's on both sides of this equation. So we're going to bring baby to mummy and we're going to subtract 8B from both sides. That leaves us 7B on the left-hand side alongside that 9. And on the right-hand side, the B's have gone and we're left with negative 5. So it's really important that you keep that negative. Because remember what I said to you right at the beginning of equations, every time you write down an equals, you have to be telling the truth. It does have to equal. So if you've not balanced correctly, it won't equal. And then you're telling fibs. So you're not allowed to tell fibs. So we're going to now subtract 9 from both sides. And then we've got 7B equals negative 5, take away 9 is negative 14. Then we're going to divide by 7. give us b equals, right, negative divided by a positive, signs don't match, so it's negative. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Okay, that's those ones. And just 3 more to do now. It's not a very long lesson today. So, first step, multiply out the brackets and simplify if possible. So we get 5 times 2r is 10r. 5 times negative 3 is minus 15. And then you've got 8 minus 4r. So now we've got letters on both sides. There's no simplifying to be done after we multiplied out that bracket. There's no collecting like terms possible there. So we're going to look at the r's that we've got. We've got 10r here and negative 4r here. So the negative 4r are further down the number line than the 10r. So it's the negative 4r that we're going to move. So to do that, we do the opposite. So we're going to add 4r, and that'll give us 14r on the left-hand side with that minus 15, and 8 on the right-hand side. So now we've got the letters on one side only, and they are positive. So we're going to add 15 to both sides now to give us 14r is equal to 23. And then we're going to divide by 14 to give us r equals, well, 14 doesn't go into 23, so we've got a dodgy fraction there, which is 1 whole 1, and 14 up to 23 would be 9, so it's 1 and 9/14. Okay. Next one, we've got a fraction here, but we're still going to treat this equation the same as we've treated all the others. So we don't have brackets, we don't need to worry about that, so we can miss step 1. Step 2 would be getting the letters on one side only. So again, we don't need to worry about that because the letters are only on one side and they're positive, so we're not needing to worry there. So we can go straight on to doing our balancing to get, I don't know why I wrote minus 6 there. We can go straight on to doing our balancing, where we're taking away 5 from both sides. And you'll see why I wrote 6 by accident, because 6 was in my head. So on the left-hand side, we've got 2/3 of x, the 5's gone, and then we've got 11 take away 5 is 6. So clearly my brain was running a bit ahead of me there. And then remember, 2/3 x means x divided by 3 and times 2. Okay, so we need to do the opposite of that. So we're going to times 3 first to get rid of the 3. So that'll give us 2x is 18. And then we're dividing by 2. So x equals 9. Okay, so that one did pop out to be a nice easy number. Okay, so just remember, when you've got a fraction, it means divide by the bottom times by the top. So you're doing the opposite to that. Okay, and then our last one. So first step, multiply out the brackets and simplify where possible. So 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times negative 3d would be minus 9d. Then this 10, remember, has nothing to do with that bracket. We've got 2 times 5d, so that's 10d. And 2 times negative 3 is minus 6. Now we need to simplify by collecting like terms, because look on the right-hand side here. This can be simplified. So the left-hand side has to stay as it is. And then the right-hand side, we've got 10d, and then we've got a positive 10 and a minus 6, so that's plus 4. Now we need to get the letters on one side only. So bring baby to mummy, we're going to have to add 9d to both sides. So that'll give us 12 on the left-hand side, 19d plus 4 on the right-hand side. Then subtract 4 from both sides to give you 8 equals 19d. And then divide by 19. How yucky is that to finish off with? So we've got 8/19. So d equals 8/19. That won't simplify, and it's not an improper fraction, so we can't write it as a mixed number. Okay, so obviously I'd save the longest one to last. But that's all you really need to be able to do with equations. They're probably not, in an assessment, you're probably not going to have to do all of these things, but you do need a really good grasp of what order to do things in and how to get to the next stage. Okay, so this balancing is so important. In an exam, if you missed out the things in brackets, you wouldn't lose any marks. Okay, like this one here. If you didn't say that you were adding 4r to both sides, and you didn't say that you're adding 15 or dividing by 14, you'd still get all the marks there, as long as every equation that you've written down is true. Okay, as long as you've done your balancing correctly. But I just think writing down what you're doing to both sides, keeping the working in, it just helps keep you right. Okay, you're far less likely to make a mistake with your balancing if you're actually writing down what you're doing. Okay, anyway, well done. Made it to the end of another week. From next week, we're going on to looking at numerical skills that are basically mostly National 4 level, but they're so important to us at National 5 that it's worth spending a bit of time just going over things like positive and negative numbers, fractions, decimals and percentages, and everything that you need to be able to do with just actual numbers. Okay, so have a great weekend and I'll catch up with you on Monday. Bye.